Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talk. Featuring guest stars, Morph action figure collector, Kapla, It's Stars and Garter. Also featuring, that's easy for you to say, it's Big Lick Marchie. More like Command Dip Suck. Look out, it's Automaton 2000. And now, bringing the band's drinking beer that's 2 packs. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Timelines Talks, the exclusive #1 show for all things Star Trek Timelines. I am Captain Idol, and I am joined by my 3 wonderful, knowledgeable, attractive, and all-round fantastic co-hosts. We've got Automaton 2000, Stars and Garters, and joining us once again in the regular hot seat, Big Muck Large Huge. Guys, welcome to the post-portal update revolution. How are you all doing?
You know what? It's not often I say this, but when you're right, you're right. We are incredibly attractive.
Yes, this week we've got quite a lot to talk about. Lots happened since last week, which is why we're having an impromptu show in one of our sort of off weeks instead of this week. And we will be doing a show next week as well, and then we'll probably go back to the 2-week schedules. But yes,
don't threaten our viewers. We might be on next week.
We decided that the advent of like 200 new crew, including some very requested names, was slightly more pressing than playing a 20-year-old Star Trek RTS. But it was real like neck and neck right there.
Armada's a lot of fun, though.
Is it though?
It is. Armada's great.
I mean, I really wanted to blow up another fleet, but I told him, you know what, we can wait. We can leave it for another week.
We can do that. We'll do that as an epic finale. I'll build a load of those. Anyway, we'll get to that. Yes, this week we've got a lot to talk about. The Elusive Treasures, the Retrieval update to Retrieval and the Portal, the new Mega coming up. We've got a nice little Love It or List It feature coming for going around the Celestial Market. But first, as always, as we always do, let's look at the event for Paxton. The winner from that, DK Shyamalan. Congratulations at #1. Majoran claps all around. Some other notable names. There's quite a few this week that I've spotted. AQ Vija, #2. 10F's own Pukus at #3. 10F again, Khan at 7. James T. Kirk, who is a 12-hour Voyager at #14. 10F Stathon, another 12-hour Voyager at 15. And also, congratulations to Roddenberry Pie from the Exo Fleet for getting to 12 hours. I think he's got #4 on our leaderboard now. So the number of 12-hour Voyagers, all natural ones, is going up. It's hitting a high, and I'm kind of... Are you guys looking forward to doing yours, chat? Is anyone going for a 12-hour voyage just yet?
Yeah, my jealousy is just going up very slowly over time that it hasn't happened for me.
Dude, I'm still just trying to get a Belloc. I don't care how long my voyages go. Just give me the... Is it Baylock or Belloc? Whatever.
Balok.
I want that guy.
Balok Exato.
Belloc!
Thank you, Paris and Trip fan, for following.
The Nazis are digging in the wrong place.
Just swallowed a fly.
All right, there we go. Big TNG super fan Roy Kirk says it's Baylock. So
I
sit
well,
corrected.
if the man would know, he would know.
Okay. Should we go straight to the meat of the moment? Portal updates happened.
It's all meat. It's wall-to-wall meat today.
Wall-to-wall. Meaty. It's a meaty show. This is all your protein you need for the week. Hope you're going to work it out. This is, the Portal update has happened. It's a fully protein-enriched... No, I'm going to stop that.
Look, there's no way to go down on this.
I didn't start.
Can we cut it loose?
Yes. Portal update has happened, and you will get crew from around where Age of Sail Picard was all the way up to, I think it's Kaldos 4 Crusher. Any crew that sort of fitted in between that time span, obviously not including any Honor Hall or exclusive crew, are now in both Portal and in the Retrieval as well. A bunch of new Polestars have been added for the crew, which I can't remember any of them offhand. I'm sure you guys... Cation is on there now. What's the one that Kevin Uxbridge is? He's a something Dowd.
Dowd.
He's there. That's in there now. So
I'm a Dowd.
Yeah,
Fake fan.
That's like
I'm
the
a crew
third
of
time you
special
said to me.
contingents.
I sound like your math teacher.
We got an hour. Let's just do the whole episode. All right, you play Kevin. I'll be Riker hanging upside down.
Hang on,
Big
hang
can
on,
be
wait.
Worf.
We've got. Oh. Thank you for subscribing, Lee Resolution. Do appreciate it. Yes, thank you. No, we have to give our viewers something to use their channel points for, and that is a channel point reward. If you can save up enough, we'll read out a script. So so hold back. We'll bring that in. And we'll probably get like 15 at once. Portal update, guys. A lot of new crew in there. A lot of interesting names, and especially that's kind of the time they put in a few sort of heavy hitters for sort of voyagers, some like Brinkir and other ones. Anyone you guys would want to recommend to our viewers?
Well, before you bury the lead here, we did have a Portal update pack pulling stream last night.
We did, yes.
Did it through the Discord, so if you're not on our Discord yet, what are you doing with your life? A bunch of people pulled packs.
Living it, probably.
So you saw all the blue crew updates like George and Gracie the whale and this and that. So you can go back and watch it on the YouTube if you missed it.
It was good fun. We had good fun. We had quite a few members of the community, and it's good to sort of chat to some of you guys that we never usually get to chat to. So occasionally we have guests here, but it's nice to sort of have an open session, just come in and have a chat with us and pull some packs. It was good fun.
So let's see, notable names. I said I would do this in the 10 minutes before the show, and of course I didn't because we were talking nonsense. Glancing through that, Adiratal, that was a giveaway crew, so you may have them at 4 of 5 or 3 of 5 sitting there. Bring Disguised Kira is a big power Voyager. I'm sure everyone knows her by now. Courier Burnham, former Mega, might be at 4 stars for you. Determined Paris, if you never finished him from his campaign or even his event. He's in the portal now. Who else do we have? EDF Adira, if you want to relive good times. Eevee Suit Worf stars. Has made an appearance in the portal.
Yes, and I had to tell everyone, incidentally, that if you want to retrieve him and you don't want to spend all of your skill pole stars, you will require a marksman pole star. Ooh. So certain off-brand traits like that are going to become essential for a lot of these crew because a lot of the combinations you'd otherwise need to guarantee them have become a little bit harder with all the dilution of crew.
And you do realise you've just put the price of marksman pole stars up by about 20,000 ISM, just saying that.
Yeah, see, every word is readjusting the market as we speak. I mean,
I'm just little did you know that all 20 of the listings for 20,000 are mine. Buy low, sell high. That's the trick. Yeah.
Little did you know, right before the show started. ISM stands for Insider Trading, so that's what we do on this show.
No, I mean the two names that stick out to me that Otto didn't mention are Makbara Crusher, which I think is on many people's most wanted lists, and then also a crew that was just a 6-pack crew, but you might have forgotten about, although they just did a $9.99 offer for him very recently, is Socrates, another big-time Voyager.
Socrates?
Yeah, Socrates.
Party
Sorry.
on, dude.
69, dude!
Other names I want to give a quick shout out are Shibeline Maress, because and she is also one that is quite hard to guarantee unless you have Writer, so have fun searching for that. Polaric Janeway, or Candy Corn Janeway as she is also known. Age of Sail Picard, as I think you mentioned, you buried. He was like the start of the portal update, sort of like a window. Yeah. Prisoner Kim. And also activated Dodge. So if you need Sexai and you already have all of the usual culprits, she is now available. She is still excellent. Go grab her if you haven't already.
So dovetailing with this is the upcoming Tribble / Exobiology Mega, and we'll get to that in a minute. But they have added the Tribbled Polestar to. They added the trait to a bunch of crews. So you can check on Datacore, any place you find your trait lists. Right now, there are 15 crew in the game. I guess 16 if we're counting next week's Uhura reward with the Tribbled trait. So I'm assuming they'll add that for the other crew in the Mega, which should bring it up to 22. So that Polestar, I guess, is now live on the market if you want to stock up for the upcoming festivities.
In fact, you know what I have to say, because we are going to get into some very conscientious territory in a little bit, and I have to say that I have to give them credit. This portal update went relatively smoothly. Everyone who seems to have been there is there. The crew retrieval stuff was all uploaded relatively seamlessly. There's these new pole stars. All the crews seem to be retrievable right out the gate. There's no, you can't retrieve this crew for no reason. So, relatively smooth launch in that respect, in that area.
I would just like to, before we go on, just a massive piece of generosity just happened in the chat. No Name Namer has just gifted tons of subs out to lots of people in the community, about 20 in total, including myself. So thank you, Namer. That was absolutely generous of you. Thank you very much.
You jewel, that's exactly what I hoped.
Knew we put that in there for a reason. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Namer.
So yeah. Marketplace went off smoothly. It was pretty much, everyone sort of remarked that actually this went off. No hitches, no real major breaking complaints. A few niggling issues.
Yeah, and
with
it
the
looks
UI.
like the marketplace went live concurrently with the portal update, maybe even a little bit before the portal update. That was one thing I was concerned about, is how long would it take before the marketplace updated after the portal update, and it looked like people noticed the marketplace first and then the portal. So hopefully that's what they're going to keep doing going forward.
I think when they talk about like the systems they put in place for the crew and the things they've been doing at traits, I think they've managed to tie up sort of Retrieval, Marketplace, and Portal in a way that when they update one, it kind of spreads out a bit more evenly. So they can't really, mess it up. I bet they will, but they can't yet.
Is that a challenge?
I think so.
And I took that personally.
So yeah, we had a pretty smooth, pretty smooth marketplace go. The portals update, retrieval. This does lead us on to the elusive treasures, which has, as always, as every elusive treasure, led to confusion.
Elusive quality control.
Yeah, little quality control. We haven't had one for a while, so it's quite nice to see. It's like. It's good that it happens once every 6 months or so. It makes you feel like you're still dealing with the same company. It just reassures you. Or do I?
Well, now they're going to bring back best chance of packs, just so we have continuity again, right?
Yeah, there you go. They did bring shit packs back, so hey.
You just called them shitbacks.
Shitbacks, get my shit back. Shit packs. I was trying to
Not
bring
wrong.
at the same time and talk. That was a mistake.
We've made many mistakes today. It's fine.
It's starting the show. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, elusive treasure packs. So yes, there are
Drama.
Elusive. They just slip right out of your brain.
They do. They're so slippery, these packs.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. No, there was some controversy with these, with that, how the wording was exactly the same as when they did it last time, and that was a mistake, and they fixed that, and then they realised they hadn't updated their original text file or whatever it is they read from, which had some errors on it. If you want to take us through that.
Who of us?
Any of you.
Well, I don't remember the exact wording of it, to quote it exactly.
Clearly not the WRG, so.
But I can say I was one of the people that bought the $9.99 pack or equivalent right away, because as it read in the text, it guaranteed for each 1x pull at least one legendary crew. And that's obviously not.
You must think me a fool to make your lies so transparent.
So I bought it on that basis. That's a little. It was out of line for other things that were that same price and for those kind of deals for Elusive Treasures before. So I thought that was strange. So I bought it on that basis, and so it was not correct. And I ended up following the process that they aligned. They did message people that were affected and gave them the option of things to do to rectify it, and I took them up on that, and I hope everybody else that is affected does the same.
So, what exactly did they offer you in terms of compensation?
Well, they did offer to refund the money that I paid for the offer on the condition that I returned everything that I was given in that offer. So any crew that I got and anything additional. So I'm still waiting for that to resolve itself and what that's going to end up being at the end. But I did tell them that, yes, I am going to accept those terms and get my money back.
What did you get in your elusive treasure?
I got 2 purple beholds that had crew that were already in the portal and I didn't need, so those were just honor, 400 honor, and I got a third behold that was actually a gold behold that had 1 elusive crew, which was Carl, the guardian of whatever, and Booker and Grudge, and forget who the third one. Oh, it was Polywater Yar. So I took Carl. So Carl is still on my roster as of now, but I assume that he's going to be gone sometime in the near future. So I'm not doing anything with him.
Excellent. This is, elusive treasures are weird because they're always a funny proposition, really, because you're kind of banking on the fact of not playing the last few events and getting a card that you actually want, not one of the events you skipped, and getting some rubbish like Zyri. But it's what they're kind of getting a little bit more stingent with this because the achievement awards which have gone up, which have started, which is do your 50 shuttles and get one behold of anything. Like it could be, it's essentially it's a campaign pull with no honor, with limited honor and no schematics that we kind of need now. So it's like I've looked at the achievement. It's kind of one of the first achievements in the game I've looked at. I'm like, I'll do my shot. I'm not rushing for it. It's probably going to be Harriman again, but hey.
I mean, it's nice that it's going to be there. I was going to say, it's literally there will be like 5 people that will get something worthwhile out of it, and to those people I say congrats. But it's just a bit It's like, okay, 50 shuttles, yeah, sure. The only reason I'm going to get this thing done is because there is a shuttle event going alongside, which I'm sure is the plan. They knew that no one was going to chase this. It's like look, here's the thing. It's like, here's a little taster. It's like, it's the tiny little bit of sausage they give you outside the supermarket. It's like, look, you can get like a packet of these. And I'm like,
but unlike the supermarket, you can't just keep going round and round with your children and sending another one off to just go, bring it back as another one. Come on.
It's true.
Good analogy? No, never mind. Sorry, go on.
You're trying to crib into Big's lunchtime allegory territory, and it just doesn't work as well for you as it does for him.
I'm sorry.
See, well, this is not show canon yet, so we haven't really dug into my my food-based analogies on the show.
No, we need.
I'm sure we'll get to them.
We'll do. So yeah, there's not a lot going for the elusive treasures pack. I mean, last night's show when we did sort of pack pulling, we saw a few of the guys came on and did a few elusive treasures, and honestly, there's not a lot attractive about it because you might get 1 gold from any of the 3 events. I think someone had a choice between Carl, Zyri, and Osira, and it's just these cards are. I'm not sure that's the exact cards, but those are an example of what you could have. Yeah, okay, you could have Mockbar Crusher, Polaric.
You could have any of this.
Human Saru, that could be possible. Actually, you know what? I saw someone had a behold somewhere. I won't name them, and I won't name which fleet, but they had a behold with 2 rubbish crew and Human Saru, and they passed on Human Saru, and I was just like, "What are you doing? Dig it! Get that card back!"
Well, now they did add a specific crew. I don't know if it was in an effort to make things a little more tempting, but I think that was one of the effects. Okay. So,
segue.
You want to segue?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of drama here.
Yeah. So,
who could we be talking about?
Well, okay, so when the pack went up and they put up an announcement to let you know all of these limited time crew, one of them was Captain Tribble, who was not in the pack information, but was in the announcement information. Well, turns out that was a mistake. Honor Hull crew don't go in there. Okay, we fixed that. There's another very odd name, a fusion crew by the name of Reunion, Spock, and Kirk.
You may have heard of them.
Yeah, you may have thrown resources down the dill hole to try to acquire Anxious Kirk a few months back. And
have you cleaned your dill hole lately? Sorry.
And so there's much gnashing of
teeth. Go to
jail.
What the fuck?
Go to Timeline's prison now. Bye.
Actually, LCARS has looked disgusted with us for about 75% of this live stream so far.
It's all over you.
Yes, Hanson, it's all over me.
Okay.
Where are you? Where are you doing right now? I'm in the penalty box.
God.
Can't wait to get penalty Yar. That'll be another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is he number 2 Voyager?
He is
I
now,
forget
yeah.
what the
He
Voyager
was number
At
one.
the
number
moment,
2.
he debuted at number 1, and
Yeah.
Yeah. As the
So-
bonuses come and go, him and Braxton keep trading number 1 spot.
Yeah. So that's because elusive treasures are meant to be elusive. They are meant to be treasures. There is a small chance of getting this crew.
Very small.
So on the
Under
one
that
hand,
criteria,
I'm like,
it's acceptable.
on that criteria, but fuck off. Because you do not get to offer a 6-pack crew to fuse with the event crew that came in a bloodbath in an event, and then go, well, you could have just had an elusive treasure if you just waited. It's like, no, come on, guys, like, don't do that. You didn't do this with Indulgent 7. You definitely didn't do it with the Binars because you knew better.
now they did do it with Evolved Janeway, but that was a mistake, and then they had to fix that one too. So,
Well, see, and that
this
wasn't
is the
even
first
in the
fusion
elusive.
crew.
That wasn't even in the elusive treasures pack. That was a screw up in the portal update. They had Evolved Janeway in the portal, the regular portal, for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or an hour or something before someone noted them that, hey, Evolved Janeway and Quinn are in the portal. Are they supposed to be? No. And then just those lucky few got away with it, and then everybody else was out of luck.
So I believe player liaison / kindergarten teacher Shan said we're aware Reunion Spock and Kirk is in there. This is a departure from our normal routine. We're listening to feedback on what you think about this. So I'm sure people have been leaving their feedback. I've heard the argument, which
I'm sure
I
it's
can
all
sort of-
well reasoned and in like a calm one and like a cordial tone. I'm sure there are no raised voices. I'm sure that everyone is behaving swimmingly.
So Reunion is one of 41 golds in the Elusive Treasure pack. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you're guaranteed to see one Elusive Treasure gold in a 10 pull, but not.
Is it even a gold?
not
I
all
thought it
three.
might have just been a elusive
No,
treasure.
it's a gold.
It is a gold.
Yeah, in a 10x pull, you're
it's a
allowed
gold, right?
at least one.
So, you have a 1 in 41 chance on the low end of running into them. So, but again, for some people, it's the principle of the thing. Why are you doing this when? I mean, for me, I've been on this train for a long time. If you want to do exclusive crew and have you pay a premium, then they ought to be exclusive until they enter the portal, which maybe they'll get more traction after the Reunion Spock and Kirk thing. But I want to read before I vacate the floor. I want to read this. This is from an announcement, WRG. They said, your feedback has prompted a number of initiatives that we would like to share with you. Review and address deficiencies in our playbooks for these situations. Review and action on our release.
Oh, you froze.
Now, if that sounds familiar, that was from February of this year when we had Bangate. So when they reviewed their playbook, they apparently made the same mistake they did on the last Elusive Treasures. And they also made a mistake with including 2 crew who probably shouldn't have been in there, and they ended up pulling the honor all crew. So, as someone said, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, but it seems like this was an avoidable mistake on their end, and if adding Reunion wasn't a mistake, it kind of feels like it.
It is a strange one. Sorry, Big, go on.
No, well, just say what it feels like is it feels like this was a mistake on their part, and they probably just internally determined, and this is all speculation because this is all we have. They said it's supposed to be in there, and that they are supposed to be in there. That was intended behavior, but the way it just feels like something that, because in tandem with the Captain Tribble thing, because he shouldn't be in there either, and they got to him in time. But this is just completely unprecedented behavior on WRG's part, and players make significant decisions and significant investments based on the past behavior of the crew and how you can obtain them. So, yes, there are going to be people that are going to pay whatever it costs to have it first or whatever, but the exclusivity plays a part of it. And so by giving someone this week-long window of, or is it a week? I actually don't remember the length of time on the pack. We'll say a week, to where you can just circumvent that whole process, then it's gonna devalue chasing fusion crew, because now you're not gonna know. Now it could be the next Elusive Treasures they decided to go back and not put fusion crew in there, or this is going to continue on, and we're not going to know. So it feels like they're just scrambling, and they left Spock and Kirk in the Elusive Treasure for too long, and too many people have gotten him for them to now say, "Oh no! For the rest of this Elusive Treasure, he's out now," and they're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah, and there is one other part of this equation that I think kind of has to play into, which is that when you make a fusion crew, not only are you you're trading on that exclusivity, you often have to pay deal for the other crew. Like, I think that's been the case for all three of them, with the exception of Captain Evolved Janeway.
Yeah.
Not only do you have to make the investment to get the other component of the crew, you also have to sacrifice a crew. You also have to sacrifice Faltorpan, Spock, or whatever, and granted, some of these cards are not of particularly high value. Like Faltorpan Spock was extremely average, and he was, I think his only real saving grace was he was a Spock, and he had a collection or two, and he was a good dip base, for a Spock event. But imagine that, it was a component that was more valuable than that, and it was a calculated decision to go, I want this card to turn into this card, and that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make. And then all the way down the line, no, you can just get the other card in a pack without the sacrifice. Hell, you could have kept your Faltorpan Spock and had both. And that, I feel like, is kind of an extra underlying layer of kind of shittiness, where it's as you say, it is a calculated investment, it's a calculated cost that you are paying, and then it just kind of gets nullified in the interest of providing value, or in the interest of covering their own asses, because I don't know, because there's two ways it can go down, right? Either they did a first sweep and they caught Captain Tribble and were like, whoa, that's a mistake, and then they went through on a second sweep and then they didn't catch Reunion Spock and Kirk, and now they're just rolling with it. Or the alternative
well, I was going to say that here's the other part of it. In addition to leaving him on the list, he's in the art. They're in the art for the pack. That doesn't seem like something that is done haphazardly.
This leads to a discussion about whether they put it in there to be more tempting for players to kind of go, ooh, there's that really high void. They're paying attention to the void rankings. They're going, hey, here's a little tease for you. But playing devil's advocate for the other side, okay, we'll put the effort in. I put the effort in to spend sites and fusing Reunion, Spock and Kirk, and doing all that, and I see him in a 6-pack and go, well, on separate occasions, it is as hard to get them, because getting a super rare in a Tuesday pack, talking about Anxious Kirk, is not a huge investment. You can get very unlucky and have to pay more than you did. I did with Captain Tilly. I had to do about 13 pulls. A bit crappy, but whatever. Yeah, I know. But with Anxious Kirk, so you get the SR, you play the event, you get your Spock. That's a time investment. Then you're spending sites to fuse them up. Whereas this, with the Elusive Treasures, it's still difficult. If you're going to that Elusive Treasures targeting Spock and Kirk, you're insane. Because your chances of getting them are extremely low. Probably a lot lower than gunning for Anxious Kirk. So the advantage is clearly to the players that did go for him and did play for him. However, I do agree that, it is a kind of a cheap kind of, come buy this pack so you've got a chance. It's dangling that carrot in front of people to say, here's this fusion crew, which pisses off the people that actually went to the effort of getting them and fusing them.
I mean, to put it in perspective, yes, there have been screenshots of players that got Reunion Spock and Kirk out of Elusive Treasures, but it's worse odds than getting a specific gold out of a recap pack for 20 times the cost.
It's crazy. Elusive Treasure packs are just hella expensive.
For each pull. Yeah. Because what makes recaps work for people that do them is the volume, because they're $3.90 a pack. So you can just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. And hopefully your luck will hit and you'll get what you want. For our Elusive Treasures, it's 6,500 every single pull. So, I mean, even the biggest whales will run out of dill fairly quickly.
Yeah.
With that.
While we're talking about this, Idle, can you throw up a poll? Because I think all four of us are sort of against it. I want to know what our chat thinks.
Yeah.
Are they? Is this a good change, a good departure, or a bad one? Adding a fusion crew into it. Now, frankly, WRG did us all a solid because your friends and your fleet mates have told you don't buy 6-packs. We've told you on the show don't buy 6-packs. Now WRG is telling you don't buy our 6-packs because you're not getting that exclusivity, and it's not the first time because Voyage exclusive crew have showed up in packs. Colonel Worf was in there. Gauntlet exclusive crew have shown up in packs. Locutus was in it several times before. So to my memory, only Honor Hall crew have been completely exempt from packs. So if you're paying for exclusivity, you're paying for the wrong thing because they don't seem to want to do that in this game.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, going kind of off of packs, like, they've been putting out of portal crew into campaigns and giveaways, so they as you say, exclusivity no longer really means anything, so you're really just playing for, I guess, the months of advantage, I guess.
I mean,
the exclusivity still exists. It's just a moving target. You don't know how long it's going to be there for. I mean, there's going to be some people that they want it as soon as they can have it, and will do whatever it takes to get it. And having it for a week, a month, 6 months is kind of secondary just to having it now. And yeah, there is, especially with a card like Reunion Spock and Kirk, who is a Voyager for everybody, and probably a Voyager on a half to 2/3 of anybody's voyages. That means a lot, and those extra months of having that card fully fused and extending your voyages for that amount for all that time, that's extra crons, extra purple cards, extra everything. So that does matter. But as far as just knowing when you buy a crew that I'm going to have something that people that are only restricted to the portal can't have for 6 months, I mean, I don't think that was ever something you could totally count on.
And I think for Apollo in chat makes a good point. WG has to sell the game to run, and they need to put something in Elusive Treasures to make them exciting. Word has got about they're like, Elusive Treasures, it's a bad deal. It is a bad deal. Like, they're all round, just don't do it. So putting in Reunion, Spock and Kirk on the art makes people kind of think, and this, it's. I think, people are saying it was a mistake. I think I agree with the sentiment that it was a marketing strategy, and I think it's a very divisive one. But a lot of people in chat are saying this is a bad idea, quite vehemently.
I wouldn't say I'm upset, but
No,
I said,
upset,
they've been doing this for Medic Jet Reno, Mycelial Culber.
That was worse,
he came up in multiple packs. EV Suit Worf. Sorry, Stars was actually an LTO only a couple months later, so a guarantee for a very low price point. And the one thing here is, now that they've added the market and crew retrieval, it's a lot easier to say, okay, I can skip the 6-pack, I'll get them again in 12 months or 18 months. But Anxious Kirk not only is our 4-star retrievals relatively more expensive than a gold. I mean, for what you're getting. Anxious Kirk has right now a 1 in 5 chance of being retrieved if he were in the portal. So are you really going to pull an average of 5 purple retrievals to maybe get 1 star and then add 3 sites to him and then get a Faltor Pan Spock and then fuse them and then add 4 gold citations, versus just getting, a full Reunion Spock and Kirk from the Elusive Treasures. So it is...
Yeah,
I don't know. They're really testing our will on this one.
I'm not upset. I think the medic, like you mentioned, the medic Reno, when she went from a Tuesday pack, which some of us sunk a lot of dilithium to get her, and then it was just like, oh, but she's free. That was a kind of like, we get the sentiment they did it for Pride Day, but it's just like, you could have picked a different car to do that with. So it kind of pissed a lot of people off. That it was just like encouraged a lot of people to kind of go, well, no, fuck Tuesdays. You're just going to give this crew away, which is.
They did pick a different crew, and there was a lot of blowback about it. So they.
It's funny because they put regular Jet Reno in a campaign later, so they could have just swapped those two and
that would have been
whatever
palatable. Anyway, I think we've said our piece. Chat's very much saying it's a bad idea. 76% to 24. It's divisive. Everyone's a different line. It just depends on your involvement in the game and how much did you miss on FTP Spock in his event, and you've kind of had your eye on the thing, and you're looking at sort of the people that are dumping in thousands of dilithium and then suddenly just getting him, and you're thinking it's the kind of pay to win mechanic where people think, for especially the free-to-play crowd as well, just think, well, hang on, this is now an unfair advantage, as much as there can be an unfair advantage in a game that doesn't really have PvP.
Well, what I was about to say is, this isn't a case of, you put too powerful a card for me to just grab and think. It's a case of, Reunion Spock and Kirk are really powerful. They're a really good card, but they have a very common skill set. There are things that can replicate their skills. They are not the be-all and end-all. There is no card that can trump any other card in every other area of the game, right?
Well, Trelane's close, but I can see the point.
That beast. But the point isn't that they got thrown in there because it's a case because they're so powerful. It's because you are inherently devaluing not just the amount of work that went into the event, not just the amount of dilithium that had to go into the 6-pack, not just the citations, but it's just all of that, and then you're undermining your own business strategy. And it comes from, I think, for some people like me as well, it's I have Reunion Spock and Kirk, and it's I'm coming from the space of, even if I didn't have him, I feel like it'd be a bad idea for him to be in the Elusive Treasures, because it just sets a bad precedent. And in the end, what does what does this do to the revenue in the end? What does this? Because we want to keep on playing this game, right? We want the lights to stay on, and by and large, these lights stay on because people throw dilithium at 6-packs, and if people stop doing that because they feel like there's no point, then the game turns off. Now that's obviously, I think we've got years and years of this game still left to go, even if revenue or whatever drops off. But it is just a case of, you have to look at your long-term versus short-term gains here, and I'm not quite convinced that WRG really thought this through. And if we suspect it might have been a let's cover a little mess up, it might have been better to just take it on the chin. But we can only speculate and guess.
How many times will you rewrite the unwritten rules that you've set up for your own game before people just stop listening to anything you have to say?
Yeah, that's actually a way more succinct way of putting what I said out there. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to come across as a huge hypocrite, because if there's a great crew in a 6-pack that comes up, or a crew that I really like, I'm probably going to pull some packs. But I've done the whale thing before and bought dilithium because I wanted a pack there and on the spot, and I can't see myself doing that anymore, because they've, especially over the last year, they've done a lot of instances where exclusive crew is not exclusive a few months later, and you can take it once or twice, but when it keeps happening, it's
well, yeah. Looking at EV Suit Wolf, you sunk however much dilithium into that, and that cost whatever much. But or you could just put 10 for the star. 3 months later, Carlos Data, they did him twice after his event.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough, event's different, but still, that was a good crew, very popular, decent Voyager. All of a sudden, they just went, it's 10, it's fine. Which, I don't know, just doesn't sound as good a marketing strategy to me, because how many people are buying those LTOs after they've played the event? How many people are buying those LTOs after looking at the Tuesday card and going, what's the point?
And actually, we were just saying, we were talking this last week, but they haven't had too many screw-ups since February. Things have actually gone pretty smooth.
The board back to 0.
Days. I'm in a good mood. As someone who finished Reunion Spock and Kirk on day one, I think almost all of us here have done it. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I think it was kind of a lame move. And it's going to make me think twice in the future about certain packs. So I think they, if it was worth it for them, we won't know. But
yeah, in fact, I think I can't remember who said it, but at the beginning, it's not. We're not angry. We're just a little bit disappointed. And in the end, it just kind of, what does it say about our instincts and what we've kind of been trained to accept in the game, that we see this happen, and our first instinct isn't, okay, well, they're trying a new marketing strategy. I don't agree with it, but fine, that's their prerogative. We go, oh, this was a fuck up that went wrong, wasn't it? What does it say about the learning process we've undergone here that we think that?
Oh, because players don't think and care about marketing strategies. They want to play the game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with the text on these offers. It's like WRG seems to care more about what they want you to read into the text of offers than what players are actually reading. It's like they're not parsing the words to see what it would seem like to a player reading it. They're more concerned about, highlighting the words that they want highlighted, even if it comes out like word salad that actually says something
it's
unintentionally deceptive.
One of the few annoying things about WRGs, you look at other gaming companies when mistakes are made, and they are. Every company does it. That's not exclusive to WRG. They're not the first, and they are not the worst by any margin. The game's still on, people are still playing, we're still here.
And I don't want to give that impression.
No, we know they are by far. You look at what's happening with Activision Blizzard at the moment, with a lawsuit that's happening there with the misconduct of staff. There are worse companies. However, the rhetoric and the communication has always been lacking, and what I think a lot of players are like would just like a little bit of honesty for them just to come out and go, whoops, we made a mistake, or just like a little bit of which, fair play to Ben when we had the Adiratal thing, he did come on and say, yes, we made a mistake and we apologize, but it took a long way to get there. It took a lot of messages with some very corporate wording, which I personally hate. I would much rather have a person come to tell me, well, this is why we did this, or have a video or something, and that's the kind of thing I don't like. It always puts me off and just kind of makes me go, I don't care about this issue. I'm just going to go and have to walk outside or something. Or
this time without having their arm twisted, this time they did offer, as far as I'm aware, cash refunds to everyone who bought the improperly. I mean, that's the way it should be.
So. Yeah. I cannot fault the way that they handled it once it was brought to their attention. So. Kudos to you for that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll also say it. Great way to get out of having a bad behold result, if you can point out.
I don't know.
I mean, there are people actually, because so it used to be a big issue where if crew were not added to the vault, if you couldn't see them in the vault, they weren't in the game and therefore couldn't be pulled in packs. So this is like a mini game. This is a meta game. People would see if they're not in the vault, I'm going to pull a bunch of packs because when they screw this up, I can get a refund and get more packs.
Packs up on Monday must be a trick. Quick.
Hey, these cookies don't have a price label on them. Must be free.
They're free. And that's one step before you taking your own sort of label machine and putting 20% off on everything you buy. All right, I think we've gone round in circles.
We've exhausted this topic.
We've done this one. So it's an interesting job. Let's see what happens moving forward. Well, next Elusive Treasures, we'll see if Cheesecake 7's in there. Okay, shall we quickly go and have a talk about the market since all you guys are here, because we talked about it obviously when it first launched last week, and now we've had a bit of time for the market to settle, for us to sort of play the sort of our investment game, as it were. And I just want to have a chat with you and with chat as well. How are you finding the marketplace? 1 week on, are you using it more? Are you investing all your ISM in bowel polls?
Keep tracking those bowel movements.
There's nothing here but worthless gold.
There you go.
That trigger came in at the best time. Thank you.
Yeah. So now we've sort of seen the early rush of sort of like day one. Everyone's buying like 100 ISM Federation polls and flipping them for a quick profit. I think that sort of ended. But we're gonna have a little feature later on called Love It or List It, where we're going to talk about various constellations of whether they're worth putting on the market or not. But I just want to have a chat with you guys about what you think about what the state of the market is in now. Are you done with it? Are you still invested in it?
So I am kind of done with it because I totted it up and I looked through the entire list of people that have been added with the portal update, and I was like, can get them. I also worked out quite happily, I can get Kaldo's 4 Crusher. I thought that would have been impossible given how generic her traits are, but I can get her. And then I realized I have pretty much every single poll I need already because I was planning ahead before the portal update for a certain crew. And now I sort of look at the market and I'm like, I'm basically just going to play this for fun. Like, I'm going to get like 30k ISM off of an event. I'm going to buy a load of cheap pole stars. I'm going to, with like a load of cheap constellations rather, hopefully get some good pole stars, flip them, and then just keep on doing, just keep the churn going for fun.
Yep.
And I feel like that's a way more engaging way to play it. And like, like the convenience is there because I'll be putting good pole stars out there and taking the hits no one else wants to do. But like for me, I'm kind of done with it. But I'm still having fun with it.
I really enjoy it. I am enjoying both getting constellations with pole stars that I am specifically targeting, and then also listing constellations from scanning and stuff like that, and getting some recouping some value there, and just keeping things moving. And now I think my mindset has shifted a little bit from using crew retrieval to maybe retrieve the first star of a crew and then citing the rest as I have citations available, to now with the availability of pole stars and the ability to get pole stars, maybe just finishing crew entirely through crew retrieval, especially big time crew, because I don't have the citations that maybe some other players have, where I can just cite someone up to 5 stars immediately and then still have stuff left over for something else. So I think that the marketplace has really made going start to finish on crew more viable option.
So I've just chucked a poll in chat if you want to have a look. And I'm going to ask you guys this question as well. Have you been scanning more or less since this came out?
Exact same.
My behavior hasn't changed.
No. I should have put that one. Actually, I didn't put same in the poll. Never mind. Just put more if it's the same.
Well, if for no other reason than I've just gotten used to doing that amount of scans in a day. So, and the amount of ISM that I have has gone up over time, not down. So, I mean, why not keep doing what I've been doing?
So, I feel like I should, from that point, is that but before the whole market went live, I kept like a float of around about 50 to 70k of ISM just from events and campaigns or whatever. And I am just incapable of keeping it now. I have maybe a float of maybe 10 to 20k because I keep on buying bad constellations and be like, oh, I could get a good trait though. And sometimes it pays off really well. Because I was looking for telekinetics so I could finish off Suspiria, and I was like, oh, this is a bitch of a trait to get. There's no one that has this. And I was like, Plutonian Kirk's only 7,000 ISM, but he has a load of really shitty traits. And I was like, fuck it. And then I got telekinetic.
Yay.
And I tell you, getting that felt to me better than seeing Gary 7 pop up in a behold before Retrieval was a thing. That felt so good. So chasing that high, that has depleted my ISM, but fuck it, it's worth it because ISM is worthless. It doesn't do anything. And this sort of leads into my scanning behavior, where this is probably going to horrify the people out there who min-max it. I scan, and then I get to the 1300 threshold, and then I do an ad warp, and then I never touch it again for the rest of the day. Because I can't be bothered to min-max it with ad warps and all that garbage. I'm just like, It's a fake currency. Don't do nothing. Just get it out of the way. That's my perspective on it.
Yeah, I feel like Data in Generations, where I'm like, I hate this. It is revolting. More, please. ISM is completely worthless. I could buy in every poll until the end of the game and get any crew I want, but I'm still having fun. I'm still buying and selling. It's like, what else am I gonna do? Like run shuttles or something? So
I think.
Well, I can't deny that every time I go on the purchase tab and there's another little notification in the Celestial Market, it's like, yay!
I sold something! Profit!
Yeah. And I don't think that's going to get old for a very long time.
Yeah. I'm not doing an ad. I'll do 4 scans and whatever. Let's do it. I went to bed last night and I'm like, oh, I didn't do any of my dailies. And so I grabbed my phone, I did them in 4 minutes, and then I went back, I went to sleep. And it's like, oh, that feels so good. I'm not waiting 9 hours or whatever for scans. I don't have to ad warp anything if I don't want to. So, you don't even have to worry about whatever constellations you're getting in if you don't want to. Scan once for the daily. You can make all the profit, get all the constellations you need from the marketplace itself. So it's liberating.
It's nice,
Yeah.
like,
And I feel like it.
No, I was gonna say it's just nice, like going, getting the constellation. You can decide, like, what I was gonna say with Love It or List It. Like, you can decide to kind of go, I'm gonna get some profit out of this rather than pull for another human Polestar. Like, you spend the 1,000 ISM and you go, oh great, it's human. But at least, even if you do that, you only lose 200. You can sell it on for 800 or 799 if you want a quick sale. And yeah.
I was gonna say that, like, I'm really glad that it's a worthless currency, because if this involved dilithium, I would be so much more exacting and deliberate about it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is actually just the most useless, it's even more useless than credits, and it's like, it really hits that I can get a bargain, I can flip something useless into something useful impulse that every one of us has in the back of our mind of, ooh, I can get a bargain here.
Yeah.
That part of the brain gets so much dopamine from the GS.
It's cheaper
from the,
than what it is
CSM.
everywhere else. It's 20% off. It's a deal. I have to have it. What is it? I don't know, but I have to have it. What does it do?
This beef is expired. Yeah, but how expired?
Smell this for me, will you? Smell this meat for me.
On a scale from corpse to, oh, I got a wummy tummy, how bad is it?
How hungry are you?
Oh, we're gonna have to...
Oh, I'm pretty hungry.
How hungry? Okay, no, it's not Love It or List It. It's how hungry for this constellation are you?
Okay, but on that note, if whoever is watching the show, if you're the one putting that, like, Janice Rand Transporter Chief constellation up there for $2,950 every month, you're not getting anything. It's Human Starfleet Federation desperate. Ain't nobody paying for that. Just dematerialize it. It's a zero-sum game. You can't get anything out of that.
I have heard for Admiral Janeway constellations, Federation Human Starfleet, and Resourceful, I think, terrible traits.
Yeah.
I've heard them going for, like, multiples of 10, 20k.
Okay, so do you think that's people thinking they're just getting the card?
I bet you it is.
Do people really have that little understanding about how these work?
I've noticed that people, like, there's a lot of name value attached to constellations. It could be a poor trait constellation, but if it's a popular or powerful crew, it'll go for more than like the sum of the best result, of the Polestars. So there's got to be people confused out there, and so if you can flip those more popular crew constellations, I'm sure there's a little more profit there.
Yeah, because I was looking through it, and it's like, there's a lot of Janeway and, like, a lot of like really generic sets where it's like Human Starfleet Federation, desperate, resourceful, brutal, whatever. Yeah. But then you get those one-off crews that are, like, super good, like Fury Kess is just like, you just look at the constellation, you're like, everything about this is tasty, everything is nice. And those ones just, like, you can't go wrong, really. Like, even like stuff like Civilian or Casual has its value. Incidentally, if people have not done the Retrieval, if you want a super easy Retrieval combo, I found out, Casual plus Diplomat will instantly get you your 5th star of Luau Paris if you don't already have them finished.
Ooh. Oh, did not know that.
Oh,
very nice.
He is the only Casual Diplomat in the entire game. So those are 2 super cheap Pole Stars, 1 Retrieval. You get like a top 30 Voyager. Super easy. Go do it.
Wow.
The more you know.
Hot tips. You heard it here first. Apparently, Casual is not cheap. It's not a cheap Polestar. It is interesting to see the prices go up and down.
Weird.
There's a lot of people doing stupid listings. Like, I can't remember something. There was
Just sell mine.
Like
yeah,
9. Yeah, go on.
Nobody's buying your $100,000, 100,000 ISM Captain Pike constellation, man. It's not going to happen.
I don't know.
Hey, how much will you pay me for this Cyrenite Polestar?
You'd have to pay me to take it.
You say that, but Idle's been collecting high command Polestars. So
you're not supposed to give the game away, right? Okay, well, I am actively hunting out high command Polestars.
Hike those fishes! Hike them up! Hike them up!
No, this is purely for personal use. I'm not training them back. This is
okay.
Go on. Can you
high
guess?
command Polestars are only to be taken internally.
Rectally, I thought.
I put it. I went to see the doctor.
That's what just tiptoed to the line.
I went to the doctor the other week, and he gave me a
suppository. That's what the shape is about.
I went to the doctor the other day, and he said, he gave me a suppository, and I said, what are you supposed to do with it? And he says, you're supposed to put it in the back passage. I said, well, I ain't got one of them, so I put it in the porch. Anyway. Oh, here we go. ISM expert.
This always becomes a race to the bottom. Like as soon as we get body, everyone starts talking louder. Hold on, I got a terrible joke to tell.
No, me too, my turn. What were we talking about?
Well, there are a couple dads among us, so it's inevitable. Okay, let's get on to the Tribble Mega, because that's the hot topic today, I think.
So I actually have one last thing before I was interrupted.
Nope,
What do you guys think?
I said the segue. There's no going back.
Segue. That is the policy on this show. Segues never go through.
It is broken.
What do you guys think about
Can you make it
Retrieval?
Sorry.
It's supposed to be shut up on it.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think about a Retrieval only crew?
Yeah, why not? Everyone has a shot at it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting. Like you'd have to give it some weird traits, maybe like a super specific only one crew Polestar or something like that. But maybe it requires some ultra trading on the.
You know what they would do? They would make it like a 50-50 or like one that you can any of 4 super rare crew you get something like that. Would they make it easy for you to just get it?
Or they'll do something where it's like you can only buy it from the marketplace, and it's like 100,000 ISM for the Polestar, or something like that.
I mean, if it's a good crew, the price will depend on, or the value of the pool will depend on how good the crew is. I also saw the idea this week of a Gauntlet exclusive Polestar, because we talked last week about right now your chance to get a non Baylock from a Gauntlet drop is around 10%. It's 50-50 for the current crew, and then the rest are all split between. We have 5 form exclusive. It's a very tiny chance to get a non-Baylock exclusive that you want. So if they added an exclusive Polestar, that could be one way to allow players to try to do it. So
yeah, and they could even maybe work it out to where the featured crew isn't able to be retrieved, but the rest of them are, or something like that.
That'd be interesting. I like that actually. Yeah, it wouldn't even be too tricky, right? Because there are like, with the exception of Guinan and Lacutus, they're mostly one-off crew. Like
I think the tricky part would probably be the Polestar itself would probably be very expensive, because right now you can go months without getting an exclusive, so it would have to be.
It also works out well for
ISM or something like that.
It works out well for the people that have all the Gauntlet. Yeah, the very lucky people that have all the Gauntlet crew 5/5, and they're fed up with getting dupes. That if they get the Gauntlet Polestar, then go, hey, I can sell it for ISM. Everyone kind of wins in that context.
Someone just tuned in. There's like, what? There's a fucking Gauntlet Polestar, man! I gotta get in on this market.
I had a message on our YouTube.
It's listed on the Cyrenite Polestar. It's a secret to everybody.
We had a YouTube comment the other day that made me chuckle, because it was a very offensive one, because you know what YouTube comments are like, and it was when me and Stars were going through Armada and when we were playing Star Trek Adventures on the other streams, and like they were saying, "What are you playing this terrible game for? Get back to playing the game and making it." Assuming we were WRG, hadn't really been paying attention. Just made me chuckle. I was like, yeah, you keep thinking that, we're gonna do what the fuck we like.
Like you
stop playing that terrible game and get back to the terrible game I was here to see.
Yes.
Jeez.
To that person, if you still think I work for WRG, I am not currently wearing pants. Yeah. So that kind of puts an end to that illusion.
I mean, we're not entirely sure Ben was either, so...
This is true. Yeah. That's the advantage of the digital age.
Bold of you to assume that pants were ever a requirement.
I think
pants were never an option.
The lowest common denominator. Tribble Mega, yes.
Yeah, all right, okay. God, disappointing.
And one more thing about
not wearing pants was a perfect segue. Fuck you.
Okay. Let me readjust my screen to actually encompass all.
Pepperoni. God, I'd love a pepperoni pizza with Bavarian olives right now. I'm starving.
Goes on for so much longer than you think every time.
It really does. Right, hang on. I've just got to arrange my screen. Oh, I'll do that in a minute. Hang on. Let's talk about the Tribble Mega that is now started. Well, actually, will be starting sooner than you think. Oh gosh, I've squashed you guys. Hang on. Talk about Tribble Kirk. Talk about this Tribble Mega, which features a new trait which has been added to various crew, leading to much speculation about whether this is going to be just for this Mega or whether there will be actually a collection involved. Who knows? But the top of the docket is Tribble Kirk, who is our legendary recurring.
Now, I don't think he's live yet. We can't look at his stats.
You can, yes.
Okay. Do we know what his ship ability quote is yet?
I don't. Otto, you're the quote person.
Yeah. What's our flavor text?
You're
What's our
our
ship
reporter
ability
in the
quote?
field.
Something else up. What are we looking for?
Professionalism. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm looking up other stuff. There's 3 other people to
Let me
cover
go
my
to the data
inadequacies.
call.
No, who are we talking about?
Tribble
I have,
Kirk.
Tribble
Kirk's
Kirk.
No, he's not
Kirk's
even on the
flavor
data call
text.
yet. There you go. At least not my end.
Okay, so his
Kirk
ship ability
realizes Kirk realizes the magnitude of the Tribble problem and orders all Tribbles removed from the Enterprise.
So.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little more flair on the recurring Mega.
I give that a C-.
Tier 5.
So his ship ability quote is "Where are the Tribbles?" And I feel like they really missed out on an opportunity for him to say, "This is my chicken sandwich and coffee," because that's like one of the lines I remember the most from that episode. Because Shatner is in such amazing form in that episode. He is just swaggering around the ship, being a dick to bureaucrats, not taking a major logistical problem seriously, and then getting assaulted by Tribbles. And it's a real good look for the leader of the flagship, the Enterprise.
So he actually does have a useful arena ability too. I don't know if we're supposed to be on Kirk or someone else, but since we're talking about him,
We're on Kirk.
instant damage at 6 seconds. So if you weren't here, over a year and a half ago for Garth of Izar, and you're a newer player and you're looking for some arena damage, he'll be a mainstay for you for a while, I should think.
I mean, there's going to be a skirmish this Mega as well, which he'll count for, so that's double bonus.
And it's the 4th week, so you'll have all the stars that you're going to have on him in time for the skirmish. So
I am disappointed the art isn't him in the pile of Tribbles. That was kind of when I thought of Tribble Kirk, because there's sort of been rumours of him turning up for a while. Like, he's not him just covered in Tribbles, it's just him holding the plate, which I'm assuming it did happen when he steps out the Replimat and he's holding his dinner, isn't he? But
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the exact. In fact, we watched Troubles and Tribulations, Trials and Tribulations, rather. And it's the scene where Dax and Cisco are sitting at the chair playing 3D chess, and they see in the background, this is my chicken sandwich and coffee, and then it's like, I don't care what it takes. We need every man. I need to get them off the ship. And then Scotty comes in, and that's when we get Tribble Herder Scotty. It's like, aye, they're in the machinery, all right. And probably in the food process too. And it's like, that's the scene. And it's like, I feel like that or the Tribble pile would have both been perfectly acceptable. I'm happy with this one. This one's fine. I would have also happy with that bit at the end where he exposes Darwin and Shatner is blatantly making the Tribbles move by like squidging them up against him. So they go, Ree! And it's like, they don't seem to like you, Mr. Darwin. I wonder why. Like, there's so many classic Kirk moments in there.
The only other option I think you could have had is him like trying to sit in his chair, and then the Tribble's there, and he's like, him like kind of,
You could have had him on the bridge next to Captain Tribble, who's in the chair. You could have had them both in the chair, and he's friends. That would have been great. Yeah.
I think 99% of players are going to be okay if we get all of those future variations at some point, because they went to the trouble of adding. God, they went to the trouble of adding the Tribble to trade. And like everyone loves. Well, a lot of people love Kirk, and it's an iconic episode and all that. If they did different poses, so what? Like how many like first officers do we have in their uniform with like 4 different variants? So
well, here's the other thing too is I don't mind not having another humbled archer, ducking down below the behold screen cards, because if Kirk had been in the Tribble pile, that's how that would have looked too, and so I don't mind not having another one of those.
Yeah, it's possible.
Those are fun. I like those.
Civil War. PNI, I would totally be fine with like a 2-star Kirk that's in the Tribble pile, a 3-star Kirk that's like.
Sure. Yeah.
Who is ever unhappy to see Kirk? You're playing a fucking Star Trek game, for God's sake.
True. And it's, speaking of, like, regardless of stats, you're getting a 4 out of 5 Kirk, which is going to be ventable. A side note as well, Kirks are not a blanket bonus for all 4, as per, usually the Mega Crew, Kirks are not a blanket bonus for all 4 events, it's just this Kirk. So if you're unfreezing your Gangster Kirk or your other SR Kirks, put them back. You might not need them.
Put them back. Put them all back.
Yep.
Shut this down. Shut this all down.
So sorry.
I was just going to say, like, we try not to go too stats heavy, but this is actually a pretty decent Kirk. Like, Command Side, you have tons of it. You have like Tanavik. I'm sure you have your First Officer Burnhams and your Courier Burnhams, so you have plenty of this. But he's still perfectly serviceable. He will probably voyage, especially on younger rosters. And Command is oddly rare among Kirks. Like, I'm pretty sure that Gangster Kirk was the number 1 Kirk command for the longest time. So this is a significant upgrade for him. So even if you only want to do like a 22.5k and get out of the Mega every week, then this is one worth going for. This is a worthwhile card.
Yeah, they'll do just fine.
All right, let's address before we go any further, because people are talking about a Tribble collection. Now, when we had Ben on in the past, we were talking about Mega events and hey, are we done with show Megas and this and that? And he said, well, it's difficult for us to run one with a show Mega or without a trait attached because we have to go through the list, make sure all the right crew have bonuses, players can't search it in the vault, etc. So to me, I don't think this is a lock that a collection's coming just because they added the trait, because we have this Mega and it makes sense to be able to search your crew and stuff. So I think players would love a Tribble collection because their Tribbles are just fun, but I don't think it's a lock at this point.
I don't know. I think they've added a lot of traits to existing crew. Like, there's a lot of crew they didn't have to add a Tribble trait to. They could have just added to the new ones and say, hey, these are bonuses. But they've added a lot to, like, Trader Odo. Ones you'd expect. Tribble adjacent crew. I think one of you guys coined that one. 171 Cisco, Dax, Trader Odo, obviously Tribble Scotty. That makes sense. But even ones like Barry Waddle and Agents Dulmer and Luxley are Tribbled as well. And that seems like a bit of a weird pick to sort of just put Tribbled on them if they weren't planning more than the Mega.
Now, I also have to check something because I feel like I checked this and I feel like I'm correct, but I need to double check it. So, Tribble adjacent crew. So people like Trader Worf are in the been given the Tribble trait, correct? But if I am correct, Koloth, who was in that episode as well, does not have that trait.
The blue Koloth,
the 3-star.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. Even though
the blue Koloth, because Blue Koloth is the TOS one.
Because Dax has that dialogue where she's like, I remember him saying he exchanged insults with Kirk at the Federation border. I was always upset. I never got to see it. This is Ivana during watched the episode like 3 weeks ago.
So he never shows up again. He never shows up again in TOS.
No.
Does he not?
I know he's No. Yeah. All the Klingons are one-hit wonders in TOS.
I know James Doohan as Koloth appears in the TAS Tribble episode, but that doesn't really count.
Am I going to see like an email from Shan defending that this is actually Koloth from TAS and I'm barking up the wrong tree and he shouldn't have Tribble?
Well, but even then, it's still a Tribble episode, so it doesn't even matter.
I'll go with that.
So,
fake fans.
All right. Can we talk a minute about
Shut up, Uhura.
The Mega structure itself? Yes. Right now, it's full faction, full galaxy, full faction, full skirmish. So no hybrids, skirmishes at the end where you don't need to have your crew leveled, but we do get 2 factions to use them.
Sadly, no expeditions, but you can't have everything.
3 out of the 4 weeks, you're only getting 3 copies of the purple. So pour one up for our VIP Zero friends.
Well, I mean, this would be a Paxton approved Mega, so no hybrids, no.
Oh boy,
Jesus!
No, you got to give it to that one. That one's good.
That was pretty good. No, So here's a fun fact. This is This is one of the first Megas we've had in a while where the previous 2 Mega crew are actually applicable. So Tribble Quark and Barry Waddle, now Tribble Kirk. 3 Megas in a row, all Tribble adjacent, all Tribble bonuses. That is someone in WRG, and I suspect it's Carmen, is very Tribble heavy at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
he's got some sway to say, like, yes, let's do this for months.
Yeah, and actually, I was gonna I noted that in the announcement they were talking about Tribble Kirk.
Yeah.
Tribble Kirk was in the announcement and made it. The implication was that he was going to be like full event crew for week 4 in some
Tribble
capacity.
Kirk will join in on the fun as well in part 4 of this mega arc. So
yeah,
could
So
be
I wonder-
bonus. It could just be part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. So it is also worth noting that this is like kind of a TOS mecha, but also kind of not, because you've got, I believe in the announcement they mentioned 2 Enterprise crew.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, Sato and Phlox.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. I really did enjoy. Guess what? Anytime you can get a Phlox variant, it's fun. He's a cool character. And I hope this Sato is good, because like almost all of them suck.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Professor and then Dross.
Yeah, I mean, and
you
really
don't love Lokek.
Lakeque?
well. Plus, I mean, has there been? I mean, discounting the purple and the blue varieties, has there been a bad Phlox?
What do you mean discounting
Even the-
purple? Mirror Phlox is the best purple in the game after like
Did I
6
say
years.
no, I meant green and blue. I meant the green and blue.
All of them are pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah,
Really,
even the
because
green
he's
blue
good
ones
for
are good.
cadets. Yeah, he's good for
So-
cadets. He's like almost
hold
all of his
on.
goals are still decent.
What about Feasel Phlox? Hmm?
I would probably say the
Get
only
outta
one that's
here
kind
with
of
that.
subpar. Floxo Natural is probably the only one that's kind of a bit.
Well, he's still got a
But
couple of
even
collect-
then, he's still got the best start in the game. So you know.
when he came out, he was like the third Med-Eng Psi crew in the game, and
Yeah.
Voyager 30-something. Because
No,
I
that was in the
remember
dark times before Reno and Prisoner
he
Kim
was
and Barry
really
Waddle.
good when he came out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
no.
one to go ahead and circle, because I imagine that's going to be a good one.
Yeah. So what's the size of this bonus pool? Because it's what Tribbled and Exobiology, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, the exobiology is the
yeah,
extra
let me
theme
check.
here, so it's going to be a few.
So
collection crew.
I hope you guys got your copies of Captain Saru, because he is probably going to be the only command crew worth having for the entire pool, really, apart from Kirk.
So
So if you want to compete in those factions,
54 plus 22, I think, Tribbled. So about 70, 75-ish, depending on
about
which
average,
event you're
actually,
at.
yeah.
Well, and some of those Tribble crew are going to trickle in over the course of the mega.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
not going to be ready yet.
Yeah,
Or
that's
Tribble
quite,
in.
Be Tribbled.
that's quite an interesting
Okay,
one,
but-
because we've always
Not
sort of
giving you
lamented,
Triple Idol.
Yeah, we've always lamented like previous megas. Oh, you're releasing crew, but they're useless for this with this mega event. Whereas actually looking at the lineup, you've got Tribble this, Tribble that. They're all going to be, you know, you'll get them in the faction event, and then you'll be able to get them, use them in another faction event, which will be, you know, more useful than previous megas have been.
So does this mean we could? I bet you we could probably even guess the purples, right? Because if we've got Captain Lucero and she's Tribbled, then does that mean that we would have like Trader Odo,
Yeah, gotta be.
probably 1701 Dax, maybe?
For the 900th time.
Yeah.
1701 Bashir, I reckon.
All right, so
again.
Yeah.
the purples right now,
I reckon.
yeah, it's Dax, Odo, Lucero, 1701 Bashir, and then
agents.
Edward Larkin, and then
yes.
2 very new ones, Agent Stillmer and Luxley, and Underwear Larkin. So
I can't wait for Agent Stormer and Luxley to be the event bonus crew for the Galaxy, so you can get 4 copies of them.
they're going to be the bonus all 4 weeks. They're going to be the existing crew all mega long.
If you thought it was bad with Reunion, Spock and Kirk, just you wait for 2 weeks' time.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
All right, but before I forget, this is total nonsense. Captain Tribble right now has the Tribbled trait, or the that they just added everyone, and also Tribble without a D on the end. I guess it just mirrors that really goofy. Like, do you need both? You're never going to retrieve it because it's Honor Hull crew. It's never going to be an event bonus because it's one single trait. Like, didn't they just do a trait audit to remove all those really tiny ones that don't apply to anything?
R.I.P. Advocate. But yeah.
And did anybody ever ask him if he was really troubled being a Tribble?
All right. You know, if you're not going to add to the conversation, dude.
No, I mean, well, no, because, all right. What I mean is, it's like with the Tribbled trait, that means it's a character who is having a Tribble put upon them. If one is already a Tribble, how can you be Tribbled?
What if you're like beholden to existential angst about the existence of being a Tribble, and therefore you are a Tribble who is tribbled by your
Yes,
Tribble?
To Tribble!
So
Or not
Nifty Mint is
Tribble.
Nifty Mittens in chat says Tribble is the race, Tribbled is something else. Yeah, I understand that, but they also called a whole bunch of stuff that was still applicable to other crew because they didn't want small trait pools. So it's like
I like Shirepaw says some men are born Tribble, others achieve Tribble, what others have Tribble thrust upon them.
I'm starting my own podcast with blackjack and hookers. And we're going to have serious Tribble discussion because you three clowns.
You were so enthusiastic to come on this week. Like, what do you expect? Okay. Shall we move on and talk about the super rare crew for... Actually,
Speaking of really serious crew, can we talk about the Janitor?
Yes, we can. He's hilarious.
Yeah, let's go. All right, let's talk about my favorite crew in the entire history of this game. I have never seen a crew that I've wanted more, and I'm so glad he's a 2-star. The Janitor from the U.S.S. Cabot from the short trek, which from Edward Larkin short trek, the Tribble one, which I forget its name now, but it was...
The Trouble with Edwards.
The Trouble with Edwards, that's the one, yeah. It's just the fact that they've taken this guy who's on screen for about 2 seconds, playing a really funny role, hoovering up Tribbles, and they've made him a card. I think that is brilliant. I love it.
Honestly, like, I would be happy with this guy being the Mega. That's it's so inspired. I'd be like, that's totally on brand. That's perfect. It's great. Don't change it.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a in this game a better embodiment of existential angst than this card right here?
I hate my job.
Because I mean, he's just like,
you know what?
Vacuuming up Tribbles.
This week on our Discord, we're going to have a captioning contest to see who can best inner thought monologue for this guy.
Love it.
So, I'm
You know what it reminds me of? I was watching Star Wars: A New Hope the other night with the boyfriend, and we all were at that bit where like R2D2 gets like shoved up the pipe onto the sandcrawler, and I was watching the Jawas, and I was like, if I was a Jawa, I wouldn't want to go up the steps. I'd be like, "Hoo-dee," and get like sucked up, and that's all I could think of when I saw his elaborate little vacuum.
You know, they could do a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory crossover, and Augustus Gloop could be sucked up through the...
How many Tribbles do you think his pack can hold? Maybe it's transport, or maybe it leads it directly to like a cargo bay, and it goes like shoop, and then it's like.
Bro, I got news for you. It transports them into space, and they die. That's the end of the Tribbles.
Yeah, can't Tribbles survive in space or something? Something like that.
They're not tardigrades.
No,
they only need to eat. They don't need to breed necessarily.
No, they just reproduce.
Do we know that? We did talk about Tribble mouths in the past, so...
Stay the course.
This is why existential angst keeps on coming up in between with the Tribbles, because they're so mysterious and unknown, despite being so cute. It's like, what secrets do these little fluffs hold?
I'm actually surprised that they appropriately raritied him as a 2-star, because in the past they've done like these 5-second screen time crew as legendaries, and everyone's like, that's not fair. So
this feels right. This is the most appropriate.
I would be way happier with this than Rafu. Make Rafu like got a 4-star retroactively.
This is punk rocker level of appropriateness.
Yes.
100%.
That's fair.
That's amazing. The Trouble with Edward. Speaking of the Trouble with Edward, there is a... What are they smoking over there this week? Because we have Edward Larkin, John Benjamin in all his glory. You can see it right there. His tiny whiteys.
You can judge the glory for yourself.
You can indeed. There's this crew. He's an exobiologist somehow.
He's also Archer, so that's a point in his favor. Not the bad Archer, the good Archer.
And yet, Bell writes Jadzia Dax stops being an exobiologist because she's not in uniform.
She's a lady.
So, the word lark, if you're not familiar with the phrase, do something on a lark. It means you're doing it for fun. The Google definition is something done for fun, especially something mischievous or daring, an amusing adventure or escapade. So every time I see the name Underwear Larkin, I have this image of people like throwing eggs at houses and like TPing trees, running around in their underwear.
Do you want that in the vault? That's the Merryman Crusher, the underwear
Yeah.
Larkin.
This is a tier 1 naughty name. There's Merry Men Crusher and Underwear Larkin. So
Larkin hard or hardly Larkin?
Where were you when we were thinking of names for the episode?
Oh yeah.
This group. Three or four of them from the event. It's a faction event. Is it a faction event? It's a faction event.
Yeah.
What an exobiologist. Like pants. Here's this guy. To be fair, when I don't know. When I watched this episode, which some people disagree on this, like there's a lot of up and down. I love the episode. I know a lot of people hate it, but like when I saw the moment where he's stepping out in the corridor in his pants, I'm like, that has to be when you do the thing, it has to be a card. That's a card right there. Like I need that in the game. Here he is.
So I feel like this is an appropriate juncture to bring this up because I feel like the effect is here. Do you feel like they're messing with their art style a little bit?
It goes.
Because I noticed it with Tribble McCoy last time when he popped up. And Larkin kind of has it here. It's almost like an unnatural, I don't know if it's a smoothness or a filter or some kind of color grading going on, but they look a little bit airbrushed almost compared to old crew. Like if you put some... Like, compare the art on 5-star 1-skiller, I had to give it to a McCoy, to Tribble McCoy, and you will see what I'm talking about. There is a definite sort of art shift, and you can see it here with Larkin a little bit. And, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not as cute with the Uhura, but I feel like it's there as well. And I'm like, is the regular art is sick? Like, are we going for something a little bit different for this Mega? I don't know. It's a bit odd.
I mean, is it a compression thing, maybe?
Maybe.
Where they're changing the way that they do that? Or
possibly, because I have to say I don't like it quite as much, because I really like the like, if I think of something like Rescue Team Uhura, where I think that's a really lovely blend of art styles, and I think of this, it's like, this just looks a little bit more sort of, I don't want to say cheap, because that devalues the work of the artist, but it just looks off in a way.
There's a new poll up there. Is the trouble with Edward? Do you think it's amazing or literal trash? So please go vote. I'd be interested to see what you guys think.
That's not a loaded question at all.
No, I love it. But anyway, yeah. No, the art style has sort of gone up and down. I don't know if they have several artists or like one company they go to. I assume it's all outsourced, but I assume.
Well, we has been about this before because some of the older crew are kind of rough, and he said no. It's just he thinks it's like. With all the other employees of the company, they just got better at their craft over time. So,
didn't he say there was just the one artist?
Yeah, I think we just have one person who, frankly, are getting very good at their craft. There's a lot of that have come out. You see them a lot in packs. If it's a new 6-pack or something, they put in old crew, and you see them right next to each other, new crew art and old crew art. You're like, damn, they got pretty good at this.
Yeah,
to the point that they decided to go back and replace art for older cards,
which is a good move. Definitely. I mean, Martok's much better.
Well, yeah. Now I don't retch every time I see Martok. So, yeah.
Anything more on Larkin, or shall we move on and talk about the glorious Nichelle Nichols is gracing our game once again for another Tribble themed crew. The second crew you can get alongside Tribble McCoy, Tribble Uhura is here. Kind of fairly decent-ish Voyager thereabout.
So it's kind of become the maxim now that, like, in a Mega with 4 gold crew and then a recurring, you're gonna get at least one piece of Command Dipset trash. It's just kind of the way it's going to go. I can't think of a single Mega where that hasn't happened at least once. I'm just sad that it happened to Uhura again. Because she had it as bad as Worf used to have it, where there wasn't a single variant that had anything other than Command Dipsec. And it's like, I understand that that's part of the limitations of the character because she didn't get to do very much, but I'm going to have to make up some fake crew to kind of rectify this because, Lieutenant Commander Uhura, Dancing Uhura, all of these 5 stars, and they're just some of them can be good, but they're just very bland.
No, I wouldn't call her trash because her numbers are fine. The issue, I agree with the sentiment. The issue is if you have, say, Voyager rank 100, if it's a rare skill set, they might be number 2 in their pair or their triplet. They're going to make runs for you, and that you don't notice a power gap. With this skill set, rank 100 might be like 35th in whatever metrics you're looking at, and they won't sniff a voyage unless you have a very particular trait match. So she's not trash, and most people are not collecting on purpose all the command dip suck crew, but it just shortens her shelf life, which as a moment in time that a lot of people enjoy, and a version of Uhura that a lot of people enjoy, they could have done a little better.
Well, it's also a case of like, so this is a conversation we can have for ages, where it's a case of the skill set is meant to represent what that character is doing in this moment, this scene, this episode, right? So Mambo Picard is diplomacy because he's like interacting with the Baku people and getting diplomatic relations with them going. He's got command because he's interlacing between Dougherty and Rafu and trying to keep command of his crew. He's got a bit of science because he's doing I was about to say dancing, but he's not. That's not why he's got science. That would be mad, as we have learned. Because he's into investigating the metaphasic radiation, right? And it's like, okay, these make sense for this scene. It's a little bit bland, but fine. That's what you would. That's about tracks, right? Well, yes, but let's really think about this, right? Uhura is cradling a Tribble, and this somehow means that she is doing something security related and command related.
Like, yeah,
is she like grasping the cribble so hard that it won't escape? Like, is that the implication?
I'd almost rather it be like a Dipmed 2 skill crew, because they may not be as usable, and maybe then we'd be having this conversation differently. Why couldn't they just give her a third skill? So, you know.
Or Dipmed Sai, who cares? Why not? Why not? Who would it hurt?
She does have a lot of therapeutic moments, I think, between the Tribble stuff, between the music stuff that she does. She's got to have some meds somewhere down the line. Chad is shouting out when she was repairing the communications array, and she's in this like nifty blue uniform, and she's underneath with like a hyperspan or whatever. So she does have some variants yet to come in the vein of Eevee Suit Wharf, where they got to rectify this, because this is 10 out of 10 Command Dipsec Uhuras, and it's like,
is it really that many? For Christ.
Yeah, well, and the trouble is they've apart from the one that they've just mentioned, they've burned most of their chances to make a good Uhura variant, because they could have, reconfigured some of these other crew that have already come out. Maybe Mirror Uhura could have been something different, or the 4-star Uhura from Star Trek 3, that Commander Uhura, that could have been something different. But they've burned all these, so they're running out of chances to make a good one.
Yeah, and it's way more acute. I was gonna say it's way more acute with Uhura and like especially TOS crew like Chekhov and Sulu, because they don't get a chance to do very much outside of uniform. So you need some kind of prop or thing for them to interact with. So you go, oh, it's from that moment, right? Okay, yeah. Whereas like TNG, DSI, and Voyager, even Sato got things to do outside of being in a blue jumpsuit. It's like you can't. It probably sounds really like, oh, listen to my friends, but it's like you don't really want to burn all your chances to represent iconic crew on some trash just because you think it's easy. It's like treat the characters with I don't want to say respect, but just with a bit more consideration of what you're actually doing in the long run. Because while I think most people don't care too much about the original crew, as long as they're good, like you don't want to get to the point where, well, we're all out of Uhuras, start just churning out the originals whenever we want them.
There's nothing here but worthless gold.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, and then even they did do an original of Uhura, and it's still a Command Dip set.
Yeah.
That's true.
You
know what? I'm getting angry all of a sudden. You do an original? You can do whatever the hell you want with the crew. You get her in like stirrups and a gun and a 10-gallon saloon hat, and she's Command Dipsec. What?
Now I'm angry.
Tell you what, tune in next week when we do 50 minutes on Gunslinger Uhura, all right?
You know what? We should do like a fake episode recap where we recap the episode for her that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
and furthermore, they gave Claiborne Chekhov for science for some reason. They could work that in somehow, but they couldn't do it.
Anyway, that's Tribble Uhura.
Idle, you're muted.
What a guy!
I'll
guys
host
went.
everybody.
What a guys couldn't hear me. I just sent it to the freezer. There. Oh, I'm sitting here talking to myself. Anyway, okay.
How's that different from normal?
There you go. Don't know why that's making a funky noise when that starts, but hey, whatever. Okay, what have we got next? Oh yes, we had a Tuesday pack that happened. That featured Acting Captain Tilly in a pack that also contained Union Chakotay, which is another super rare that is not in the portal still. It's quite recent.
Still no.
And there's a still no, and it's an interesting pack, and I think I just put it up. I did bring it up here somewhere. Interesting pack because it features Zenghee Riker as well, which is he as of now he is in the portal, however unretrievable. As we always say, don't do 6-packs. But we have a lot of collection bonus here in the super rares. So, what do you guys think of Acting Captain Tilly? Because she's inspiring, which is huge, big collection, large.
It is large. It is big. It is huge. I like this card just because of the art and the general moment that it represents for Tilly. I like it for that. I don't even know what the stats are. I'll probably look at the stream and see them now.
She's a super rare. She's inspiring. What do you need to know?
She's
I wrote about her this week, and the note ends with, "She's not a terribly titillating Tilly," and it's like she's just very, very bland.
I thought my jokes were bad.
That was a good joke. Shove off. It's like the trait, she has 5 traits. Only one of them actually matters with inspiring. So she's kind of collection fodder. Now, we thought that when the Discovery Megas would end, we'd see an uptick in those supplementary crew. And we kind of sort of, Culber's had like 2 as opposed to none for the first 3 years, but Tilly she's at a maximum of 1 in any calendar year. So she's like, even Scotty has picked it up more than she has. So for such a fan favorite, I would expect a little more event play, a little more features, and I don't know.
Well, this is a second 6-pack in what, like a month? Because we had Party Tilly not like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? So like, it's a bit odd to shove 2 variants in. I guess maybe they're banking on the fan favorite thing of like selling the pack, but it does sort of make me hope that we aren't going to get what kind of happened to Picard Season 1 cards, where we got a few in Astrophysicist Mega, we got a few in one of the other Megas, I think it was the Discovery one. And then they just put every single one of them in a 6-pack. Like there was Vashti Picard, there was Zenghee Riker, there was this, there was that. And it's like, I kind of hope we don't go down that road of like every card you actually want getting shoved into a 6-pack, even though I understand the logic. And it's like, can we get less, like more Acting Captain Tilly in events, more Captain Saru in packs? I feel like that would be an acceptable kind of trade-off for the general. You know, like, and I'm literally saying I would rather you put like these. I would make it harder for me to get the gold with the better collection bonuses. But I feel like spacing out the love would just be nice. You know,
Tilly's plan to build a bomb makes for some hard choices as oxygen runs low on Discovery. Sorry for forgetting the last like 4 crew we talked about, by the way.
Well, all that said, this particular pack, I mean, it's one of the more appealing packs that they've put up in a long time, just in that most players, that all of these crew are going to be crew that they need or need stars on. I mean, I think the only one that you would plausibly have done already is ECH, the command hologram, but everyone else is basically a winner in some capacity or another.
And I think this is the first time that they've put in a recent non-portal super rare in the same pack as the new, literally brand new crew. I feel
like they've done it before, but it's not often.
No, it's not. So this is kind of like, you know, you were aiming for 2 of the super. You know, you're going to get a super rare if you pull this pack. I don't even look at the golds. Like if it's a super rare, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get one of those 2 and 2 out of 3. That's not bad odds to get a collection.
I mean, Lord help me, didn't the BEM pack have both of the binars in it too?
Oh yes,
when they were still out of the portal.
Isn't this the wrong week? This is the wrong week to be saying positive things about 6-packs, though. So don't pull on this one.
Yeah, don't pull on 6-packs. Yes. ask your mother before you sign up, but always ask an adult before you sign up to Six Packs. I don't know where I'm going.
Ask your doctor if 6-packs are right for you.
This is a good episode because this is kind of that. Well, okay, it was a good and a bad episode. This is that fine finale of season 3 of Disco, which was it kind of the whole of season 3 went up and it kind of went a little bit wobbly at the end. But this was a good moment, should I say, of the command crew of the Discovery sort of fighting their way through, and they like the blurb says they have to go and find and set off the bomb to try. And I think they're detaching the nacelle, aren't they?
Yeah, they're trying to blow it out of the thing so the rest of the Starfleet can catch up to them because they're in high warp.
That's right.
And there's a lot of cool variants you get from me. I'd like Ogoshikun from this moment because she gets kind of the big hero moment. Maybe she's like with the drone and like I think that a lot of people were a little bit too harsh on the season 3 end. I can see why because it does have some structural problems. There is a few bits of plot that goes by a little bit too fast. There's a few accelerated moments, but I thought on the whole it capped off the season in a well enough way. And I say that as a known Discovery defender, but whatever, fuck y'all. This moment was good, and I appreciate Tilly's continuing character growth, and I don't know, I just like Discovery. I appreciate what it does for pushing the boundaries a little bit and doing things that Star Trek hasn't done before, which is giving your actual like nobodies on the bridge some personality. Like I remember one of the criticisms was like, oh, the bridge crew don't get anything to do. They're not the main characters. And it's like, well, no, that's kind of the point of Discovery. And like, even though they're not the main cast, they still get things to do, which I appreciate.
And you've got Union Chakotay in there as well. So, we're talking from, my favourite topic.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I did say before the episode is like, oh yes, my 3-hour segment of shitting on Chakotay. Here we go. But no, he is costumed. So and that's a large collection. Inspiring is a huge collection. Like there was all plus signs to me. But in a far off future, looking at when she does enter the portal, this is a good card to grab. When that eventuality. Not anything you want to go in Elusive Treasure. Is she in the Elusive Treasure? She shouldn't be, should she? Because she came out the day before.
To run it side by side, that'd be weird.
I don't think anyone said they've seen her in there.
That was kind of people's hint that we might be getting Elusive Treasures the day before because they were running a Tuesday pack on a Monday. It was like, wait, this is a bit odd.
A lot of people was like, I choose on a Monday? This doesn't fit at all.
Like they're spitting their tea out.
This is a scam.
Five-star Party Tilly is in Elusive Treasures, but not this one.
Yeah, that's fine. That's Tilly. But yeah. Okay, remember.
Till later.
What can we say about a Super Rare with one collection? Let's play a fun game, shall we? I meant to spool up an intro for this, and I haven't because I haven't had time. I've had a busy week work. But let's play Love It
You
or List It.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. I do actually have a day job. I have responsibilities. This is just fun. Love it.
Go ahead.
Or List It.
Wait for it.
Hey!
We're gonna put that in the official intro. It's just gonna be us stepping on each other's toes.
No, it's your turn.
Well, I mean, I just think that maybe not everybody knows the reference that you're quoting here. The Love It or List It.
It's one of those one of a billion. They have these home buying TV shows in the U.S. One of them is Love It or List It, where they renovate they buy a house, renovate it, and then decide if they want to keep it or flip it for on the market for money. So that's where this came about. We started doing that on Discord. Is this a great constellation? Do I love it or do I want to list it and just sell it without opening it? So
and credit where credit's due. It originally came from Gina Zindanian, also previous guest on the show.
Previously.
And notice Swole.
Yes, he is. He works out. I think he can bench press all of us. Yes, so we're going to have a weird look at the Celestial Mark. I don't know why I went Scotty with that. And we're going to pick a few poll stars, and we're going to ask you, the chat, would you love it? As in, would you keep it? Would you open it? Or would you list it and try and make a tidy profit? Which I quite like this idea. So we have a list of a few poll stars we're going to look at, and we're going to ask chat, maybe making a little poll. But the first up, we're going to look at, and this is my alternate account, that's why I'm not flush with all sorts of cash. So this is the Nightmare account, which is still nightmaring along lovely.
You casual.
You filthy casual. We're going to look at First Officer Burnham. First Officer Burnham, if I can spell. Listing starts at 9,000. There are plenty of orders. No, there's no orders, actually. No active orders. No one wants First Officer Burnham, but plenty up for sale, up to 30,000. Contains the following traits: Federation, Starfleet, Astrophysicist, Human, Xenoanthropology, or Resourceful. Polls going up. Would you love it, or would you list it?
So something that's worth noting here is that like xenoanthropology is one of those weird things that like has kind of gotten a lot of focus in Picard and Discovery, and they gave it to both Soji and to Burnham, and it kind of enables them to basically have all kind of knowledge, that like plot knowledge. It gives them the Spock thing of, oh, I know exactly all these things. And you would think it would be more useful than it is as a trait, but if you have Soji finished or you don't want to finish your Burnham, it's kind of a useless trait. And Astrophysicist is full of garbage crew, as I recall.
No, just
I mean, not outright garbage, but I mean,
but
quality
like
varies.
is in there.
Just to know that we've got resort. People look at Federation Human Starfleet. Like mentally, to myself, I have to make a note of crew thing like resourceful and desperate as also being really easily available. Like they're you can buy those for near enough 800 or to 1,000. That's nowhere near as rare as you think it is, just because it's not FHS.
See, now the first one is a trick question because we picked a very popular, strong character with awful traits, and we want to see how smart the chat was. Of course, you're smart. You're watching Timelines talk, so you're all correct. You're completely subjectively correct that this is an easy listed, in my opinion.
But this lends the question. People would look like people are saying, like people have gotten quite a good price for certain sort of constellations just because. It's a Picard, it's a Burnham, it's a Janeway. It's like First Officer Burnham. People go, "Oh wow, that's got to be good. She's tier 1."
Just for the name recognition, it would be better to list it than to.
This is the equivalent of buying an Apple phone. It's like you're gonna get the brand, but not necessarily quality.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh boy, are we starting this one?
I'm seeing this as like streamed from my Mac, so don't take that as the bit of rubbery it is. So
Steve Jobs Ghost is going to find you.
Good, he can get pancreatic cancer all he wants on the ground.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Guy's a monster.
Can you go back to the dill hole joke again?
Namer, please make some inappropriate jokes right now. They'd be a huge upgrade.
Damn it. I can't stop the heterocyclic declination.
It's over the top of the
We need a biomolecular physiologist in here. This man is dying.
Sorry.
Now, let's say that I would probably, if I could get this for cheap, I would actually discover this because I love rolling for constellations and I'd be able to flip that xenoanthropology. But that's me being weird and wanting to take gambles where I shouldn't.
So Xenoanthropology starts at, let's have a look, listings 15,000 all the way up to 70,000. Yeah, you're dreaming, buddy.
Yeah, right.
And there's some orders here. Someone orders one for 800, so someone's thinking they're going to... No, you're not going to get that for 800. No.
Well, someone's thinking if someone's going to, because I have seen some constellations get listed like 300, and I'm like, why are you... Even the worst one is worth more than that.
Yeah. But there's a few crew in here, Xeno... Oh, hang on. Am I on? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, there's. Why is that big? Oh, because I'm not thinking. All right, sorry. Yeah, there's a few good crew, mostly Burnhams. Apart
Welcome
from
to Captain Idle's inner monologue.
Literally, sorry. I do it at work all the time. I talk to myself.
Only now you're noting that you're not thinking.
Man, what does it say when I'm the nicest person on this show?
Like, being unusually
mirror
restrained.
universe. Mirror universe.
Okay. This is definitely a list it. Let's talk.
Yeah, it's a list it. Yeah,
to list it. How about 1701? Jadzia Dax. Listing starting at 100,000. Oh my word! Oh, this is the only one.
Newly betribbled.
Newly betribbled. 2 are listed at 100,000. Contains Federation Starfleet, not human, exobiology, astrophysicist, Trill, gambler, undercover operative, Tribbled, pilot. That's tasty.
Bush has got a lot of traits.
That's actually really good.
And only 2 of them are outright terrible: Federation and Starfleet.
Even pilot, which I say is the weakest of the none of those, is still pretty good. That can let you get some good crew in there. Like that can get you a Braxton down the road.
And this is also, in terms of purple, she might be the most recognizable in the game. So there's a little bit of name value there that might inflate the price if you want to sell it.
Yeah, and Trill is a really good Polestar because that can get you something like Niners Dex or what's the other ones? Like you can get like a good few. Yeah, and Exobiologist. There's a good few extra 5-star drills. But
I mean, alternate future Dex is not terrible.
Yeah.
Well, if you guess what, you can't finish a 50-50, so you'd have to take the gamble. But it would be worthwhile because she's going to be really useful for this mega. So if you want to take a gamble and try and get that Exobiologist, that's a good trait to. I can see Polestars getting really valuable the moment that the mega announcement hits and we realize what the trait's going to be. I'd love this one.
I've never seen such a disparity between the order prices, 1705 to 500 and then just 100,000, that is
1705 and not 1701.
I know.
Fucked.
This is
It was probably a bidding war behind the scenes that we're only seeing the end of.
That's very true. It just keeps creeping up. I'm going to assume the two listed are the exact same person. Because why hasn't the other one undercut them to 999?
Okay, here's an informal poll in chat. Are you? Because I'm this guy, and I only feel bad now. I'm not going to feel bad later. Are you guys in chat that guy who lists everything one ISM below the next highest price?
I do. I go like a low 50, but yeah, I also try and
like we're all playing Price is Right, and if we're the lowest price without going over, then we automatically.
I do 50s, just because I don't want to have to change it for a while.
All right.
Yeah, no, love this one. This one's great.
That's very much love.
I think I would love this one too.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is your furnished log cabin of a constellation.
Just to let you know that bars and Polestars are now going for 69,000. Anyway,
nice.
This is your process over results, crew, because you're gonna love it. You're gonna open it and get Federation, and you're like, "Oh, I could have made more."
Yeah.
So if you're actually holding on to a 171 Jadzia constellation, you want a nice sale for a good price. There's a market. It's open on that one. Not that we're influencing things at all. How about Ruropenthe Commandant?
I think Chad is a lot more virtuous than I am because they're throwing out bigger numbers like 100 ISM lower or 2 ISM lower, which is better than me.
Okay, love it or list it. Ruropenthe Commandant, Klingon Interrogator, Veteran, Brutal, Survivalist, Villain, Hunter. We are seeing orders as low as 1 ISM. There's 99 people have ordered this for 1 ISM. Yeah, right. And the highest
one guy with 99 orders.
Oh, yeah, okay. or one.
If you're watching the show right now, what are you doing?
If you're watching the show, is it working? Is it working for you? I hope it is. Because that was a lot of button presses to get what you wanted.
Yeah. We're looking at 105,000, 99,000. So, people have. There's a high price for a Ruropenthe Commandant. And do you know what? Probably rightfully so. This is some tasty traits.
Interrogator respecting is especially good. That's a very exclusive little pool of crew. Yeah, I'd probably love this one. This one's quite good, actually. Brutal is a bit of a... but everything else here is good.
That's the flag there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Brutal is objectively the worst trait you could get out of it.
Hunter's very useful. Hunter, you can get quite good. I mean, you can get Ruropenthe Commandant if you already haven't, so,
So we've given up on the polls, then?
Yeah, there's only 3 people over, so we'll just do it in chat. Just love it or list it.
Yeah, it's informal. Very informal.
So Apollo is the contrarian here. They say, list it, I don't need those traits, which is a good point. A lot of people are only using the market for the Polestars that they need for the retrievals. Especially with ISM not having a ton of value outside the market. I wouldn't blame anyone if they're not having oodles of fun flipping Polestars all day that they only want to do what they need and get out. So
yeah, there's a lot of sweat cost that goes along with trying to be a Polestar broker that a lot of players might not necessarily want to
Polestar Baron. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
No person in the history of humanity has ever put those words in that exact order before. So congratulations.
Yes.
Hey now, you're a Polestar.
I would.
Yeah, love. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would love it.
Bill Shakespeare, just coining words left and right.
Yeah.
Dad, I can't see real good. Is that Bill Shakespeare over there?
He ain't
Alright,
got
so-
the ruffles, but the face looked right.
I think just about everyone loves this constellation. I guess I do too.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a high price.
We
If you've
need-
got one and you don't need it, that's a good one to list. You make a profit on that.
We need more good hunter voyagers because that's like a really rare trait, and I think it's used on a lot of bad crew and old crew. So
Yeah, I think the newest one that got, was like Shuffed Captain, like the TAS captain, and I think he was notable for being the best hunter voyager with a relatively decent skill set. So
it's probably a good retrieve with hunter. He's got a ton of
yeah, but not for voyagers.
not for voyages,
Good.
no, for collections. Yeah, no, it's collection. A lot of Chakotay's, bounty hunter mud, but yeah. All right, let us go. This is going to be an interesting one. This is another. Would you get this for the name?
Shy Point, if you're still in chat, you could do Polestar Hero spoof. That would be a pretty good parody song, I think.
Okay.
Ooh.
Away Team number 1, currently available at 5,907, relatively cheap, mostly probably because she is a Federation Starfleet human, resourceful explorer. Now, that's the wild card, isn't it? That's your 20% chance of explorer. Well,
I think that's really generous for calling it a wild card.
No, actually, no, it doesn't. Yeah, we're seeing listings. Someone wants 100,000 for it. What was that? No, oh, God. But yeah, no orders. No one wants it.
And this crew, the best retrieval you can get on this crew is only a 20% chance. So.
How are you doing this?
Ooh, a magic show, baby.
A question I ask every day.
A hearty welcome to Little Make Large Small.
Yes, it does. Okay, but we're trying to have a show right now, so yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Daddy has to talk to the men on the internet.
Don't apologize. The quality of this show just skyrocketed.
You've got another 20 views because
Yeah, no, that was the nicest and most cordial host the show will ever have.
Let's have a look at Explorer. Explorer at the moment is, again, not too expensive if you wanted to just buy one straight from the listings. 5,300, going up to 14,000. Like, that's cheap for that. Like, even if you had, you've got to list it really. Well,
yeah.
Well, hang on. No, there's a third option here. Do you just trash it? Because
you know what, I'm gonna go out and say it. Anyone who is listing or has ever had a Transporter Chief Rand, just demat it. No one wants it. No one wants it. No one. Not even you. You don't want it.
Well, yeah, but so again, you have a little bit of name value here because she's very good in Gauntlet and she's hard to retrieve. And if people know that, you would think they would know to not open it, but maybe they go after it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is where the 10 order limit comes into play because maybe you don't want to mess around with really bad options.
Stop you from making bad decisions.
Because
Yeah.
even if you bought Away Team number 1, you spent the 5,000. You got Explorer. You're not selling, and you sell Explorer. You're not using Explorer for much. You're not selling it for much. There is literally nothing in it.
Even if you win, you've lost.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you to WRG. Thank you, WRG, making sure I can only make 10 bad decisions at once. And if I want to make another, I got to take them down and relive.
Yeah. That does change things.
Notice how they only do that with the one that doesn't cost any money and that is completely worthless. They'll let you make as many bad decisions as you like with your Dilithium.
Yeah, pay actual money and you're stuffed. All right, let's go for another last one for this week's Love It or List It. Let's go for a bit of a name recognition one here. Would you invest in Admiral Janeway? Listing starting at 23,459, which is a...
No.
Oh, no, I get the number.
It's important to note, this is not Vice Admiral Janeway.
Oh, no, I picked the wrong one. Sorry,
Janeway.
Yes, I do apologise.
Yeah?
I got the wrong one there.
Can we bring Big's kid back to host this show, please?
Hang on, why isn't there an Admiral Janeway?
How are you doing this?
Are you sorting by owned or something?
No, all items.
Idle is often owned, it's true.
Ha ha ha. Oh, Admiral Janeway. Oh, there's literally no listings or order. Oh, no, there is an order. Why was that not pairing up? Anyway, never mind. Human Federation, Starfleet, resourceful. This is Janice Rand levels of trash.
This is Janice Rand levels of trash. How is she not a veteran?
Yeah.
Because WRG and traits don't mix very well.
Or how is she not an explorer, for Christ's sake?
I mean, some people start saying
at
list.
this point, she's sitting behind a desk, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll give anyone
she's
traits.
exploring the drawers of her desk for snacks at this point.
Is temporal violator a trait? Because I feel like it should be.
I'm seeing some of the orders here. Someone's ordered one for 30 ISM. Like, anyone that's got this, just dematerialize it. Like, or even sell. Get the human Starfleet and sell it for 790.
Let's get the Jeopardy board up there and just say one is born every minute. What is it?
Yeah.
What's a sucker? No, we're not doing the how do we like the marketplace any more conversation, but this still is only a week old and there's still a lot of kinks to work out, and I think that the player base is not everybody is catching up at the same time to what the real values of these things are.
So I think, and this is a little controversial, I guess, from what I've seen, I think you ought to be able to list it for whatever you want, and if you get taken advantage of, like, it sucks, but you should have read the release ahead of time. But I think it's probably fair to have, if you're going to list it below the dematerialization price, it should pop up a little notice that says, you can dematerialize this for X amount. Are you sure you want to list it?
And then it pops up another one and says, are you really, really sure?
Because even if...
Well, because when people were doing the, buying 100 human pole stars and trying to flip them or dematerialize them because people were listing them, for 100 ISM or less. Some people were, and I was one of them, thought that listing them for 799 ISM, which is less than you can dematerialize them for, but then having someone buy them all in bulk saves you the trouble of having to go in and dematerialize 100 human pole stars.
Big McLarge brain over here knows how to cheat the system.
Yeah, but that's quickly becoming not even an issue anymore because nobody's really listing this stuff anymore.
Look at a pulsar like this. You take it, you open it for your 1,000 ISM, and you sell it for 799. You've lost 200. If you just dematerialize the constellation, you're up 300. Like it's
not stonks.
Not stonks. No, not pole stonks.
It stonks, man, but the graph goes down instead.
Yeah, not stonks, not sponks. This is just an all-round. You just wouldn't, unless for some reason resourceful gets very scarce.
I don't want to think about what that entails.
Sponks, spocks.
So this has been the tutorial edition of Love It or List It. I know you guys out there have some probably sitting in your inventory.
Looking, it's all over you.
Yes, it's all over me.
I'm sure some of you out there have some sitting in your inventory. You're not sure what to do with them. So if you want to appear on Love It or List It next week, go ahead in Discord and whatever applicable channel. Post some images or let us know which constellations you have, and we'll do this again next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely will. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, maybe I'll have an intro for next week. Something flashy. Someone lots of stars.
Idle promises that he will neglect his children for a few hours so that he can make an intro for you guys on the internet.
Oh, I don't have to promise that.
That'll happen anyway.
I'll do it of my own free will. No, I'm joking, of course. I love my children. I think this brings us to the top of the show. Oh, also, you want to have a little word about Blue Boy Wesley? Because, you have to. Every week, I think you need to say something about little Blue Boy Wesley.
Save the worst for last. It's actually not a big deal, but I did find it interesting. When he launched, he was Human Federation Starfleet hologram. Now, what they did was remove, and this was not posted anywhere officially. Now that the crew stats and traits are not posted on the website, I think they're going to get a little tricky and start to stealth change things without letting us know. It's not the first time. So they took away his human trait, added Prodigy and Explorer. So that's nice. They're a little bit offbeat. I don't know how Explorer applies to a holographic character who sits there and eats pie.
That's also a thing of, like, how is this not a human? It's a representation of a human in the form of a hologram. Right. Even the Doctor has human, which is...
And actually, back in the trait audit, Drink, they added human to a bunch of holograms who had the human appearance. So for them to take it away for this character makes no sense. So it was a little bit
they're
odd.
implying that Wesley was never human.
He's a lizard creature. He's
explored
Sword's
that pie.
brother.
Definitely explored
So
that.
anyway, it was a nice bump to his value in a couple different areas. But so anyone who participated in the event for that great art, now you have a slightly better crew on your hands, I guess.
Little did you know you weren't competing for a human.
Did you know? And he will actually get bonus in the upcoming event if you want the Tribble McCoy. So there you go.
There you go.
It all comes full circle in the end.
Always bet on Blue Boy Wesley. And on that fantastic epilogue to our show, it is time to say goodbye and good night. If you are interested in catching up on any of our old shows, go and join the YouTube. Follow the channel there. If you want to get notifications about when we go live, hit the follow button. If you want to come and join us in the Discord, links are about. I will just pop the link there in the chat so you can come and join. We have voting things for episode titles, fun games, lots of discussion about poll stonks as well. As well, you can join our Twitter as well, timelines_talks. All sorts of ways to follow and join us week to week. But from any last words, gentlemen?
Stonks.
Perfect. And that's good night from us.
Hold on, yes.
Oh, hang on.
I have parting words.
Pepperoni! God, I'd love a pepperoni pizza with Cabot and olives right now. I'm starving!
Perfect. Bye!